our country to reform the limits of intelligence agencies that have simply gone too far, that are not spying on terrorists, that are not spying on criminals, but are spying on everyone, simply because they can, because it's easy, because it's cheap. And this is an issue that's not unique to the United States. Every other government in the world is pursuing these problems, these sort of programs, even if they don't have them yet. But this is what we can do best, and this is what we can do first. And we in the United States can institute reforms that set an example for the rest of the world in the same way that Anthony has set an example for everyone at the ACLU. You know, I know what it's like to stand out there and realize if you do something, you're going to be criticized for it. There's going to be a backlash. People aren't going to agree with you. And sometimes, I've got to say, it feels like stepping out off of the side of the tallest cliff in the world. But ultimately, sometimes that's what you have to do, because you realize on the way down, the world will catch you. And that is what we're seeing day after day beginning now.
You know, Edward, you mentioned terrorists and terrorism. What would you say to people in the intelligence community who have criticized you in your disclosures for aiding and abetting, in some sense, the terrorists who they say can now have better way to elude detection?
I'm glad you asked, because this is a fairly common criticism by officials who are implicated in this kind of law-breaking or rampant criminality. And they say, look, you're giving them the playbook. Look, you know, sort of they're going to go dark. We're not going to know what's going on. But we've actually seen that's not the case. In 2013, that may have been a compelling argument. We might have believed that. But today, we're living in 2016. The directors of the Central Intelligence Agency, the National Security Agency, the Defense Intelligence Agency, the FBI, have all been brought before Congress. And even the most senior intelligence official in the United States, the Director of National Intelligence, General James Clapper, and all of them have been begged for a single example of any individual who's come to harm his relative, any terrorist who's gone dark that we have no longer been able to track. And in these 3 years, they have never given a single example. And that's because none of this information was released by me. I didn't release a single document. I worked in partnership with the press to remove my personal biases from the equation and have journalists evaluate these documents and see, do they actually serve the public interest? Are these things of critical importance that we need to know to provide the kind of informed consent that is the basis of our entire democracy? And thanks to this and the fact that prior to publishing all these stories, the journalists gave the government a chance to look at them and say, is this going to get someone hurt? In 3 years, no one has come to harm, and yet Congress has changed our laws. The courts have ruled these programs unlawful or unconstitutional, and the president himself has said this debate has made us stronger as a nation.
You know, thank you first of all for answering that, but when you raise the name the president, of course, I would imagine wherever you are, no matter how secure, you've heard about our crazy election cycle we're having here. Mm-hmm. And curious what you think about the Donald Trump candidacy.